Your self-esteem is how you view yourself and how you value yourself. It's basically how you perceive yourself. And if you were raised by a narcissistic parent, your self-esteem is likely to be rock bottom to non-existent. And there are many reasons for this. And then in this video, I'm going to be talking about why your self-esteem is so low, some of the things that narcissistic parents do to rob you of your self-esteem. And I'm also going to be talking about things that you can do to improve your self-esteem. You are not locked into this life of being programmed by a narcissistic parent. You can learn ways to help yourself heal, to grow, to change, and to build your self-esteem. I'm Dr. Meg Haworth, and I help ACONs, adult children of narcissists, become healing and healed icons. And what's an icon? An icon is somebody who's independent, confident, original, and naturally you. All those things that the narcissistic parent programs right out of you, those things you can reprogram yourself to learn, do, and become. So, like I said in this video, I'm going to be talking about self-esteem. It's such an important piece of healing from narcissistic abuse. In fact, it's the very first thing I cover in the first module of my online course, Healing the 5 Primary Wounds of Parental Narcissistic Abuse. And this topic of self-esteem is just really super important because it's from this place that you can build and grow and change and become more and more of who you were always meant to be. But see, you see, the narcissistic parent has taken this away from you through the way that they've treated you, the way that they've talked to you, the way that they have programmed you to believe things that aren't even true about you. And that should be the first thing that makes you go like, okay, I really want to change my self-esteem. I want to claim myself separate and apart from this narcissistic parent who brought me down. So I want you to just start with that when it comes to self-esteem. But first, I'm going to back up a little bit. I'm going to talk about some of the ways that narcissistic parents have actually destroyed our self-esteem. So one of the primary ways that narcissistic parents destroy self-esteem is through criticism. And so this can be criticism of, it could be anything from how you look, you're too fat, you're too thin, you're too much of this, too much of that. It's always going to be some sort of extreme that you're too much of or not enough of, because there's never going to be a spot in which the narcissistic parent will say, you are perfect, you are just right. Unless it's something that you're doing, some achievement that you're making, that they're trying to get credit for, basically. And then that's a different story. They maybe really cheer you on when that's the case because it makes them look good, and that's all that really matters with a narcissistic parent is how does it make them look. It doesn't matter about how something makes you look or how good you are at something because it's not about you. Nothing's about you, actually. And that's another reason why your self-esteem is so low. When you're treated like you're irrelevant, you don't matter, you're invisible, you get that message, and that makes you really believe those things that they're telling you are true when they're not the truth of who you are and what you're about. A narcissistic parent is not going to bring out and nurture the most wonderful parts of you. So say you emerge very young as an artist, and you're really amazing at drawing and all of that. That narcissistic parent isn't likely to ever bring that out unless it benefits them in some way. So you may grow up being really great at drawing, but you kind of put it aside because you were criticized, you were belittled, you were shamed, and you were told that you can't possibly be an artist, you can't make money with that, or you can't. That's like one of the calls of the narcissistic parent is they constantly telling you what you can't do versus what you can do, what you're capable of, and what are the things that you can grow and nurture and change in your own self. There's no support for that with a narcissistic parent. So the criticism is a huge piece of that. Another thing that narcissistic parents do a lot is they do this thing called future faking. And so they'll tell you, oh, next week we're going to go to the movies, and we're going to go to this carnival, and we're going to go do this. And then the next week comes and it doesn't happen. And they may even turn it on you when you say, hey, aren't we going to go to the carnival tonight? They may turn it on you and say, I never said I would take you there. A lot of times they just ignore it. They don't say anything. They don't say, I'm sorry, I can't take you, and here's why. They just don't. It's because, again, it's all about them. It's not about you. And so that makes it really hard for you to build the kind of self-esteem and that kind of self-value that is really important for you to really excel as an adult, to really excel in any part of your life. Another way that narcissistic parents really lower or just eliminate the self-esteem of their children is through comparison. So they may be constantly comparing you to other people. Well, why can't you be like so-and-so? Or your sister's good at that. Why can't you do that? Or they may compare you to like other family members. Well, look at how great they are. They went to Ivy League schools. Why aren't you that smart? What's wrong with you? You're the problem. So there's always that message of you're the problem. You're the one to be blamed for everything that's going wrong. And instead of them really looking at, hey, what's great about this child and let's bring this out, that's not what they do. So that comparison piece can really lower your self-esteem and your self-value and your worth, your ability to be able to perceive yourself in a way that's self-empowering for you. Another thing that might be a huge turnoff for you is if you have a grandiose narcissistic parent. They're just larger than life and everything's amazing about them and all of that. You may really draw yourself back and not want to come out and share your own skills, your talents, your abilities, because it just seems like you're being a braggart just like they are. And so you may really hold yourself back from having a positive perception of yourself and projecting that kind of confidence out in the world, because that overconfident narcissistic parent was really embarrassing for you and really made you feel uncomfortable, and you made that decision that I'm not going to do that, I'm not going to be like that. So that's another way that you may be kind of pushing your own self-esteem, self-worth, and self-value down. So those are a few things. There's so many ways that narcissistic parents destroy the self-esteem of their children, and feel free to put those in the comments here below, and let me know what are the ways that this happened in your own family. What are the ways that your self-esteem was lowered and destroyed by your narcissistic parent? And I'd love to hear also, well, what did you do about it? And that's what we're about to get to here. So here's what you can do about that low self-esteem. You can definitely turn it around, definitely get into that stance of, nope, I am not going to let my narcissistic parent rob me of my greatness ever again, anymore. I'm not going to let them rob me of my own personal value, my own self-esteem. Now, this can be really hard for you at first to do the exercise that I'm about to suggest here. But what I want you to start to do is make a list. So just get out some paper. I say an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, and start writing this down, because I want you to post this list where you can see it, where you can read it, keep bringing these things out over and over again. But on this list, what I want you to do is I want you to write down what are the skills, the talents, and the abilities that you have. What are you good at? For instance, say I am intelligent. I am really good at reading. I really excel in English. I really excel in math. I really am a kind person. I am generous. I am caring. I am, just start bringing out all these qualities. These qualities are the essence of you. You've been told your whole life that you're bad, you're wrong, you're not smart, you're not good. You've probably gotten the message that you're this horrible person from your own parent. And so you'll grow up believing you're this awful person, even though you know in your heart you're not. And I hear this all the time from my clients. It's something I've been through, where there's this thing called splitting, where you're either really good or you're really bad, and there's no integration in between. It's not like a normal person who it's like, okay, you know what, I messed that up and I'm not good at that, and that's okay, but I'm great at that, and that's okay. It doesn't work that way in a narcissistic family system. With a narcissistic parent, you're going to get that message that you're a bad person, you're a horrible person, because that's the message that the emotion of shame brings. And so this list that I'm talking about is something to help you to turn that shame around, to help you release that shame from your body, from your field, from your heart, your mind, by really bringing out and noticing what are the best parts of me. If you have a hard time with this exercise, and I know I had a really hard time with this exercise in the very beginning, I couldn't think of anything good about me because I had come out of that kind of household. And so I asked people closest to me, what do you love about me? What do you think are my qualities? What are the good parts of me that mean something to you? And so that was a really powerful exercise. And I was able to really listen to what other people saw in me. I wasn't able to accept it. I wasn't able to drink it in at the time. Now I can drink in a compliment. It took me a long time to be able to do that. But if you start thinking about the energy of giving and receiving, and that's a lot of what I'm talking about, is receiving goodness from yourself, from acknowledging yourself, from raising your own self-perception, receiving goodness from others, from allowing them to acknowledge you and raise your self-perception by understanding that you are all these wonderful things that they're talking about, that they're telling you. You are those wonderful things, and to focus on those as much as you possibly can. This is a great way to help you with raising your self-esteem, raising your self-worth. And there's so many teachers out there doing wonderful things, writing books, doing coaching programs, and all kinds of things to help you with raising self-esteem, raising your self-worth, and self-love. I totally, I implore you to go study it. Go study, what does self-esteem mean? What does self-worth mean? What does my personal value mean? What is self-love? Go out there and make it your study so that you can heal these things within yourself, and do it with that feeling of determination. Like, I am going to do this. I'm going to take care of myself. I am going to heal. I'm going to do whatever it takes to become the person that I was meant to become. So, all right. If you haven't already done so, please like, subscribe, comment, and know that you can also get a free consultation with me if you feel like, I really want to work with Dr. Meg. I do something really different in that I really work with the energy field of the body, and I work with the emotions, thoughts, feelings, and beliefs that get held in the body from the past experiences of having narcissistic parents, of having had sexual abuse as a child as well, and helping you to release that energy from your system. So it's a form of energy work and energy medicine. I also help people with their nutrition. So I was a holistic chef to celebrities in Hollywood for about 12 years, 14 years, something in there. And so I created diets for healing specific conditions in the body. So, and that's something that I still do help my clients with. So when you work with me, you're going to learn about food that will help your body to support itself, to get well, and you're also going to learn about how to release the past from your physical body, those thoughts, those feelings, and those beliefs that get stuck in your field. And that when you do release those, you have more energy available to you to be able to do the things that you want to do to experience life in the way that you'd like to experience life, and to raise your self-esteem, your self-worth, your value. I hope that this information has been really helpful for you. I'm Dr. Meg Haworth, and I hope this information will help you get well now.